Hey, what's going on there, folks? Good evening. It is the Earthmaster here, back on this Monday night, February 13th, 2023. It's about 9:28 p.m. here along the West Coast in California. And looking at the Earthquake 3D globe here shows a 2.8 earthquake. Looks like it's hiding over here around the Turkey area. Still seeing some activity kicking up here. Including some larger movement westward with a 5.0, shaking things up further west. We'll go ahead and look at that here in just a minute. First, I kind of want to cover some activity around the New Zealand area. Got Cyclone Gabrielle here, churning off the North Island region. It looks like area of circulation is right off here in the north coast. Still seeing some wind gusts up in the 60 mile per hour range, right off the west coast here of the Auckland area. Notice the broad area of circulation indicating weakness. Now, if we were looking at some tightness here, it would obviously point towards some strengthening. But this thing is getting ready to disassemble, so to speak. Also some activity down into the Wellington area. Getting a little bit of movement across the straits here, a little bit of an uptick in wind events, but this is going to die out here as we progress into the day tomorrow and over the next couple days. So that is good news. I know I've seen quite a few folks there without power in the North Island, New Zealand area, and some flooding and whatnot, but I have to say that this thing looked as though it was going to be much more intense, I should say, than what it actually is. I know there's a lot going on there. Definitely, looking at some high winds and some power outages and some flooding potential out there. But it could have been much worse. So fortunately, things have kind of mellowed out there across North Island, New Zealand area. And speaking of all that wind, right, we do have a lot of wind. This is a great opportunity to show you guys what the wind can do to seismograph stations and volcanic seismograph stations. Notice that dark signature coming up here across the majority. Look at this even here across areas of North Island, New Zealand. That is what environmental noise looks like. We see that a lot. We chat about it a lot in Yellowstone when we're covering Yellowstone activity. But that's it. That's the seismograph stations are very vulnerable to environmental noise, and the wind that's been created out here in the North Island, New Zealand area has picked up a lot of that static. I like to call this static because it's outside interference. So I figured I would share that with you guys. Definitely not earthquake activity, but an elevated situation there when it comes to the wind. Pretty cool to see, but also, a lot of folks don't know about it. So I figured I would share that tonight with the folks here on the live stream and the update video. All right, so what do we have going on here across the globe? Across the flat scale modern Earth. By the way, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, February 14th. Pretty awesome. Not for sure exactly where I'm going to take Missy Mimi's out yet for tomorrow's dinner. I'm trying to keep it quiet. I don't know if she's watching or not. But either way, we'll figure that out for sure. A little bit of movement out here around the Long Valley supervolcano. We've been seeing a swarm of activity around, that doesn't sound good, Bloody Mountain. A little bit of swarming activity specifically around this region. Looks like a couple 2s and some 1s down there at about 8 or 9 kilometers below the surface. Again, that's the Long Valley supervolcano in Southern California. I do want to look up the let's go over here to the volcano hazards map here. I think this is the best way to view it. We're going to zoom in here to areas of Southern California, and by doing so, we're able to check out each specific volcano here along the west coast. There's Mono Lake. We got the craters there, Long Valley Caldera, Mammoth Mountain. But this activity is kind of occurring more closer to the Long Valley Caldera. So we're going to check out a little bit of activity and see what's going on here. Hopefully, if everything is working correctly, yes it is. Seismograph stations are going to be in the triangles here. There's some of that activity being picked up. Goodness, can anybody tell me why it's doing that? Every time I click on the seismograph, it disappears the first time and then it pops up the second time. So, computer nerds, let me know. There's some of that activity here kicking up over the last few hours earlier this evening. A couple small earthquakes, some twos being reported in this mix as well. Definitely looks like it may be starting to swarm out there around the Long Valley supervolcano. Again, this is just outside of the Caldera region and more positioned down here around this specific area, Bloody Mountain. But it's kicking up down there about 9 kilometers or so below the surface. And looking at that activity, appears as though, it could be a start of a little swarm kicking off. So we'll continue to watch that across that area of, goodness, me and my windows, right? I know. I'm gonna fix that real quick. We'll continue to watch that activity there across that region of California. Getting quite a bit of uptick in activity across this Calaveras fault zone. It's a fault system, pretty lengthy and dangerous fault system that sits on the North American side of the plate boundary. The plate boundary, of course, going through San Francisco here in the red line. Anything west of here is considered the Pacific plate. Anything east is the North American plate. And getting a little bit of swarming activity kicking up and down that region today. It's been relatively quiet over the past, I would say 3 days or so. I did mention here last night that it's possible we could probably see a 3 or 4 due to all this quiet activity, but we're kind of mixing it up a little bit, creating mini microquakes out here. But I think we still see a potential. We may see a potential here of some further activity. Kind of lighten up here after a couple days of quietness, and now specifically one fault system showing activity. Yeah, I think it's definitely noteworthy to watch the Bay Area for right now. Further down south along that plate boundary, as we follow it, minimal activity over here around the Ridgecrest. Not going to even mention that tonight. But down in Southern California, got one earthquake in the last hour near the, what is that, Trabuco Canyon, 1.1, very small microquake. But overall seismic activity here in Southern Cal, somewhat minimal. We did have a 3.2 coming in much earlier this morning near the Ocotillo Wells area. That's at the kind of the southern end of the Juan de Fuca plate, but it's the San Jacinto fault zone. Also a little bit of activity south of the border, 1.7. No major swarms around the San Andreas Fault for now. As we scoot into Northern California up north here, again, Clear Lake volcanic field, very typical. If you follow my updates, follow this channel, you'll know what's going on. Real quick recap of what's going on. Well, it is an active area below the surface here, and humans have found a way to create energy by ejecting raw sewage below. These are hydrothermal operation plants here, and there's numerous ones out there, and there's a process involved to create that energy and to create steam, which ultimately creates these earthquakes out here. I know it's kind of disgusting. I'm not really into all that stuff, but hey, humans, right? They definitely have a way of creating unique ideas there. That's good. 2.4 coming in off the coast of Ferndale. Well, actually it looks like it's inland near Ferndale, south of Eureka, 18 kilometers deep, but we all know what's up there. Just kind of up in this area, the Cascadia subduction zone. Getting a little bit more shallower with each quake. And again, the locked area sits just offshore here up to the subduction zone level. And kind of watching that. Let's go ahead and check out the tremor map here tonight and see what's playing out. Looks like nothing. Kind of find that hard to believe with the earthquake activity over there today. But nothing showing up here from the PNSN network. Nada. Zip 0 is the key number tonight. All right. Well, moving on to the Pacific Northwest, up into the Washington area. A little bit of movement here across the Devil's Mountain Fault, 2.3, 47 kilometers deep. A little bit of activity kicking up underneath that region. What else we got here? Wyoming. Rest of the country looks pretty calm. We will check out here Yellowstone. Let me key up the Yellowstone region here real quick and see what's going on. Looks pretty quiet. Over here around the borehole area, there is some activity. It kind of looks like maybe wind events, ice events. Again, you know, wind can create this type of environmental noise. It doesn't necessarily look like earthquake activity at all. And the reason why I say that is because it's not, oops, let me go back here. It's not showing up at these local seismograph stations here. If this was indeed a microquake earthquake swarm, we would be seeing it very locally across these other seismographs, but it's not. So this leads me to believe that the station here is a little bit sensitive, but also picking up some environmental noise there. Looking over here towards the northwest corner of the park, one earthquake, very small earthquake. We know what to look for when it comes to earthquake activity here on this channel. If you've been watching us, it's there. The information and the facts are there. So let's go down south here to Puerto Rico. A couple twos. It looks like maybe a 4.2 outside of the Montezuma area, just off the coast of the Dominican Republic region. 4.2, 10 kilometers deep. Somewhat shallow earthquake activity. Lighten up here across this area of Puerto Rico, though. Notice this little linear activity here. Still got to watch for some potential larger scale activity in this region. Things have been very active recently around this area of the Caribbean plate. Well, let's see what we got. Middle America Trench. I have a feeling I need to check that. Looks like we had a 4.1 earthquake there reported by the EMSC data. Nothing from the USGS. I just got a notification of a 2-pointer in California. Looks like that's coming in right now, 2.4. Let me check this out real quick and see where that's at. Oh, there's that 2-pointer, 936. That's going to be north of the Garlock Fault shear zone near the Bodfish area. All right, so as noted, a little bit of activity here across the Middle America Trench. South America region, this activity throughout the afternoon and some from yesterday. Nothing big, but, you know, 4s seem to be the number. It's been very active in terms of 4s recently. Over here across the New Zealand area. By the way, I know I re-added the GeoNet servers on here. Been kind of popping back and forth between if I want to show them, if I don't want to. But I think it's best to go ahead and include the GeoNet servers. The reason why is because there is some activity taking place down in New Zealand that hasn't been reported by the EMSC or the USGS. So GeoNet servers are designed to monitor the activity across New Zealand, and it's pretty important to include that data here on the globe. Yes, there has been some odd earthquake activity in terms of the GeoNet reporting, quakes that are not really there, or maybe potentially a larger magnitude than it should have been. But in cases like that, we'll verify it and we'll double check through seismographs and whatnot. But I kind of reviewed all the data today from the earthquakes down here south of New Zealand, South Island, New Zealand area, and just kind of confirmed that the activity that was taking place there, and just went ahead and we added them back here onto the globe, and we'll probably continue to keep them up there. Just out of caution there, because it is an important agency. To rely on one data agency is not a good thing. So for New Zealand, definitely some activity south. We did show the volcanic drums here. Let me go back over here to the GeoNet servers. I'm missing it tonight. There we go. 2.6, 5 hours ago. The all magnitude map here. Mostly ones, some twos, some threes. But for the most part, the bulk of the activity, you can kind of see it stretching across North Island, New Zealand, along this plate boundary that stretches out here along the Alpine Fault. And that's going to be right off here. Right off here. Nothing shown up here from the USGS aside from that 6.1 that struck into the Kermadec Islands early this morning. But that was a deep earthquake. And we still haven't seen any subsequent earthquake activity upstream. Let me check the EMSC model. Yeah, nothing. We did see some westward adjustment here with a couple fives. Let's see what we got over here around the Vanuatu area. Looks like a 5.2 deeper level of the plates here in the Vanuatu region. But deeper movements obviously add stress up here along that subduction level area. So I want to say we need to watch this area of the Kermadec Trench southward. It has been showing kind of an, I hate using this word, unzipping pattern. But over the past couple months, activity has been working its way slowly down south here along the Kermadec Trench. I think it's definitely worth watching in that region here for some activity. A couple fours out here around the Philippines region. A look at the EMSC model here shows, goodness, that's it. Where'd our swarm go? Guys, remember our swarm of activity here over the past month, I would say. That has calmed down completely, almost dead stopped. So we're looking at areas here around the Java Trench. If we don't see any further activity eastward here, southeastward, I think our watch zone right now needs to be this Java Trench area north. Just the way this is playing out, we've come to a halt of earthquake activity, and the way the plate tectonics and the general plate movement goes in this area tends to either work its way back over here or westward along this Java Trench area. It's definitely rather interesting here that came to a complete stop. What do we got here? Turkey area continuing showing some activity, and that 5.0 coming into the Romania area from earlier today. Somewhat of a stronger quake. Moderate sized earthquake shaking things up out there, about 10 kilometers deep. Relatively shallow earthquake. Let's go back over here up into the Kuril Kamchatka Trench. 5.2 from the Kuril Islands area last night. We did see a little bit of adjustment down south here, just off the coast of Japan. A 4.8 EMSC model here showing, verifying roughly about the same activity here across the region. A little bit of swarming activity up north of Iceland. Let's see if USGS is reporting it. Yes, they are. Look at that. We had, 3 earthquakes back to back, roughly within about 15 minutes of each other. This is a divergent boundary out here, meaning that this plate boundary is a kind of a fracture out here in the oceanic crust. Not a subduction zone, but a spreading of the seafloor, so to speak. What else we have? China, that earthquake out here. That was northern China from early this morning. And one earthquake way down here. I'm kind of wondering how many earthquakes take place across Antarctica and maybe up north that we don't really know about. You know, it's I don't know if they have a lot of seismograph stations down in Antarctica. Could be some stuff going on down there that we don't really know about. 4.7, well, I would say that's well south of South Africa. We're talking well over 1,000 miles along this fracture zone out here. Looks like Andrew Bain fracture zone. Yes, my head is tilted. A couple different fracture zones out there along this plate boundary. Nothing going on across the South Sandwich Islands, but I think potentially with this movement down south here, we may want to watch this area here for some potential movement. Taking a quick peek here at the further activity. Looks like another 1.3 Cobb area, Cobb Mountain region. And since we've been chatting, there's that 2.4 coming in onto the Calaveras fault zone. That's kind of lighting up like crazy. Calaveras fault zone, definitely a major player across this region of the Bay Area of California in terms of creating major earthquakes and also accumulated slip and strain. All right, let's see what else do we have here, folks. Space weather activity here tonight. Numerous sunspots. We do have a couple worth watching. And overall threat right now, 99% certainty for a C flare. M flare at 65% chance, 20% chance for a X flare. And with all this heightened activity, numerous sunspots, lots of energy, we're looking at a 20% chance for a proton event. And a quick look. Oh, goodness, what's going on here? Attackers might be trying to steal your information from NASA.gov. Ooh, goodness. Do I have NASA after me? I would hope not. I mean, I'm citing their information. I'm citing their page. It's a little on the odd side to get that. I've never actually gotten that from this page. Unless this is coming from the solarham.net site. That's a little odd, let me tell you. So check this out. SDO normally uses encryption to protect your information. When Chrome tried to connect to the NASA site, the website sent back unusual and incorrect credentials. Oh, you guys getting this? It's going to be the SDO site. That's a little on the odd side. This is rather surprising. The older image here, I guess we'll go ahead and use this because I don't know if I want to be vulnerable to my information there from NASA. Goodness. So numerous sunspots here across the area, and I think right now 3226. The sunspot right here is a one to watch very closely. It is looking like it is growing and getting very dynamic in the structure with its magnetic fields. All these other sunspots, yes, they are growing, but not quite as much as 3226. We're going to watch that pretty closely. I wish I could see the most recent imagery here, but for whatever reason, it looks like I'm being warned not to visit the SDO NASA site. Anyone else experiencing that? Let me know. Kind of scratching my head on this one, a little on the odd side. All right, so we'll back out of here because I definitely don't want to visit any sensitive sites out there. I've never seen that. It's pretty weird. Current solar flare activity. There we go. We're working. I hope. A lot of strange stuff going on in the world, folks. Let me tell you. Between balloons and UFOs and Oh, the question is, what's next? You know, what else can the rabbit or what else can the magician pull out of his hat? We did see an M flare peak up here a little bit earlier this evening. Looks like into the almost the M 2.0, 2.3 category. Very short-lived M flare, but we are starting to peak up here again. Oh man, we're missing a couple things here. Not for sure what's going on, but there's all sorts of information being, and it's weird because this is affecting the solarham.net site. So whatever's going on, these guys are not viewing it, or these guys are having the same issue as well. I don't know. It's weird. You just never know. Never know. Living in the age of information, right? A spider web of information spread across the globe here. So we're just going to have to work with what we have, and we'll go back tomorrow, hopefully after it's fixed. But we'll watch this here for some further flaring. I do think we have a good, strong threat here of at least a very strong M flare from 32, 26 up here, 32, 26. Surprisingly, it is a beta gamma class magnetic structure. It has grown a little bit since that imagery, since that date being assigned. But we'll continue to watch this. No auroras currently. If any, very, very minimal up there across the area. Space Weather Prediction Center at NOAA is working. But it seems as though the SDO site is a little bit on the questionable side here right now. So I don't know. I don't want to be going down that rabbit hole, so to speak, with those folks. So we'll see see how it plays out tomorrow. Valentine's Day. Yes, Valentine's Day is coming up. We do have the drawing coming up here for the member drawing on the 15th. That is a given, and that will continue, of course, here into the future. It's something that we do every single month for the members only. Excuse me. And we give away some prizes. And this month we're giving away $50 Visa or MasterCard or, PayPal, whatever you want, direct to you. Of course, after verification, that is. Or if you want a cool Earthmaster t-shirt from our Earthmaster store, that is also up in the mix there for your grabbing. Or also a 7-piece mining kit, which is really cool for kids or yourself if you enjoy digging around for rocks and whatnot. So we'll be doing that on Wednesday. No, is it Wednesday? Yeah, 14th, 15th. Yes, Wednesday. Kind of getting my days all mixed up here with schooling and whatnot. It's been a major overload, let me tell you. For those of the folks that are in classes and taking multiple credits, I'm taking like 12 credits here in this semester, and with 4 classes. And goodness, this one is getting me pretty good. But we're going to continue to march on through and continue our education as we should. We have a lot of colder air coming into the country. I do want to show you guys here a couple different things. Right now into the Pacific Northwest, we have some colder air coming down out of Canada. But there is a massive area of cold air above us that's going to be dipping into a good portion of the country here around the 21st, 22nd time frame. We're not looking at any major events out here along the West Coast. Let me go over here to the West Coast and I'll show you guys kind of what's going on as far as precipitation amounts go. We're looking at generally light conditions here across Northern California. There is some snow that we'll be picking up here into the Sierra Nevada over the next storm or so. But there's no major events coming up. Looks like maybe around the 25th, 24th, 25th, things may pick up a little bit here for the California region with some more rain and snow. That's good. That's very promising. And then behind that, hey, this is new. This is definitely a newer model, so this is good news here. I'm kind of surprised. Seeing some more rain and snow around the end of February into March with a massive, look at that low pressure system. The values up here, as far as the pressure goes, right around 1,000, probably less than that. So that is good news here for the West Coast. We're starting to dry out, and to be honest, we could probably use a couple more good solid storm systems here to help us out of the current drought conditions that are taking place here in California. Alrighty, so I think that's about it. What do we got here? 5.0. That's gonna That's gonna be that one. So 2.4 is still the latest quake. Again, you know, I added the GeoNet servers back on here just to cover the New Zealand area. And if there's an oddball earthquake, say for example, we see a 6.0 or something pop up here around the Java Trench, we're going to check that and make sure and see if it's verifiable or not. GeoNet servers tend to, at least as far as the international earthquakes go, they tend to get some of their information wrong. But locally, I think it's very wise that we keep this up here on the globe. A lot of earthquake activity kind of working its way down here into New Zealand, so we definitely want to watch that. All right, folks, have a good night. Monday night it is. I don't know why it feels like midweek or so, but Monday, just that's it. Monday. Tomorrow's Tuesday, so we'll have some Valentine's Day stuff going on, and take Missy Mimi's out somewhere. I don't know where yet. Definitely not going to be McDonald's. Not going to do that to her. Got to be somewhere good. So either way, folks, have a good day. Have a good night. We'll catch you guys a little bit later on. Make sure you are a member here on the channel. Hit that member channel option. It's not only, obviously hit the subscribe button, but also hit that member option here for some extra perks, extra videos, extra emojis and icons, and of course our monthly drawing that's held obviously every single month. We'll give away some free prizes, and believe it or not, we are very close here. I wouldn't doubt it if we hit 100,000 subscribers this year. We are currently at 89,294 subscribers. So over the past 30 days, we have gained 2,000 subscribers, which is pretty awesome. That's actually really incredible. And we are working our way towards that 100,000 subscriber mark. And we're going to be giving away prizes, obviously not only to our members, but to the subscribers here on this channel. 10 of them. It's going to be a pretty nice, huge drawing of multiple prizes. And I honestly can't wait to do that. I'm hoping that we hit this 100,000 subscriber mark by at least the end of summer. If we can go sooner, oh yes, that'd be awesome. All right, folks, have a good one. We'll catch you guys on the flip side, so to speak, sometime tomorrow. Take care, folks.